Hello people of YouTube, I'm Bob Parsons of Polarity Products. As you're likely already aware, a new Sonic the Hedgehog game has come out, which has got people excited because it is doing something that a Sonic the Hedgehog game has not done in a while. Be a good game. Yes, apparently this new Sonic the Hedgehog game is actually a good game. Which, considering how much this franchise is beloved by fans, it doesn't sound like it should be that difficult to do really, but based on some of their more recent releases, it seems it's not actually that easy. When do I say recent? That was like, what, over 10 years ago, but it still feels recent. The pain hasn't gone away yet of that. Sonic 06 was a bad game. It was pretty much the death of the Sonic franchise to most people. They believed that there was no way it would come back from that, and then it tried with Sonic Boom, but anyway, this new game that's come out, Sonic Mania, has decided basically the best thing for the franchise, and I agree with this, is to scrap all that they've done since the original trilogy and just go back to that. I mean, let's be fair, the original trilogy is when Sonic was good. Since then it was just a steady decline. I mean, it did have a few good releases. There was Sonic Adventure, Sonic Heroes, Sonic Generations, but in general it was a steady downcline that pretty much ended with Sonic 06 and then just got buried deeper into the ground with Sonic Boom. So the best thing they possibly could have done was to scrap all that had happened since the original trilogy, and that's what they've done. They've gone back to the original with Sonic Mania. It is a sequel to the original trilogy and has gone back to that original 2D 16-bit pixelated art style, which I'm not sure if it really needed to do that. I mean, you could do a follow-up to the trilogy in that 2D play style but still have nice 3D graphics, similar to Sonic Generations when you're playing as the past Sonic. Doing it in that sort of style, that could have been nice, but I think, you know, doing it in the original pixelated style, it sets itself up as a sequel to that original trilogy, and it brings back a feeling of nostalgia for the days when we actually liked Sonic the Hedgehog. So I'm not complaining about the art style, it looks beautiful. From what I've seen of screenshots, I haven't actually played the game yet, and this is what this video is about. I've purchased Sonic Mania, and I'm very much looking forward to playing it. I haven't yet played it, so this part 1 video will not be a review of the game. There will be a part 2 where I'll follow up with the actual gameplay itself, but for this video is just me looking at the things that come with the game if you get the collector's edition, and whether or not it's worth paying the extra money for the collector's edition. Now, I do want to say before I get into this that I have looked at reviews of the collector's edition, and apparently most people do seem to agree that although the stuff is cool, it's not worth the extra money. The actual game itself, Sonic Mania, is download only, so even if you get the collector's edition, it doesn't come on disc, and you can download it from the PlayStation Store for £16. And based on reviews of the game that already exist, £16 is more than reasonable. But the collector's edition, depending on where you get it from, I got mine from Amazon, cost me £80, which is quite a jump in price. And one thing I'm going to consider during this review of the collector's edition is that the game itself doesn't really matter when taking into account the £80 price level, because even if the game was so good that it alone was worth £80, the fact that you can still get it for 16 if you want to cancels that out anyway. So it doesn't matter how good the game is, it's acquirable for £16. Therefore, whether or not it's worth getting the collector's edition basically boils down to whether or not the extra stuff that comes with the game is worth £64. I think that's right. Yes, £64. So is the extra stuff worth £64? That's basically the part 1 to this video. The extra stuff that comes with the collector's edition, is it worth £64? And then part 2 will be, is the game any good? Is that worth £16? We pretty much know it's gonna be, but still, a review of the game will come up, and this part 1 video is a review of everything else that comes with the collector's edition. First thing I have to say about the collector's edition is that if it's the size of the packaging they put it in, it's a lot bigger than I expected it to be. thing is fucking huge. I know why it's huge. One of the things that come with it is a sort of statue. I'll show you when I get that out, but it's big and I've got to find a place to put this, and I don't have much room left in my room. Oh, I'll find somewhere. This is the moment where I realise that I've actually got the wrong package and my mother ordered a collection of dildos or something. But hey, I bought these batteries, so I might as well put them to good use. Right, let's get this thing open. I'll be extra careful not to cut past the packaging because, like I said, this cost me £80 and I don't want to damage anything inside. Ooh. Right, there's a little bit of padding, so it's slightly smaller than the Amazon box, but not by a lot. I'm going to just move you back so that you can get a better view of it. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. That is bloody big. Wow. Slightly different how I've seen the packaging online. So even if I've looked at this online, I think the, I don't know if you can see that well on the camera, but the square design from the original Mega Drive, or Genesis as it was known everywhere else, it was bigger and more visible. I don't know if this is just a cultural thing buying it in the UK or whatnot, but still good. Got the design on the front. Welcome to the next level written on the side with a little picture of Eggman and Sonic at the bottom and the Sega logo, of course. On this side you've got a preview of the things that come in the box. Don't need to talk too much about that because you're about to see it anyway. And then on the back you've just got the blurb with some screenshots from the game. Again, you'll see more of the game in part 2. I want to be gentle about opening this. Hang on, I've just realised. The cover I just showed you is actually an outer sleeve to the box. As if a box, the thing that's only there to protect the things inside it, has protection of its own. And was then posted in an Amazon box which gave even more protection. If I open this up and the statue's broken, I'm going to be pissed off. So we remove the sleeve. Come on off. There we go. And it's the same design, but yeah, the square pattern is a little bit brighter, so a little bit more visible. Opens from the front. Oh, that looks nice. I want you to experience what I just experienced, so instead of getting things out individually, I'm going to open the portal to heaven for you. Yeah. Okay, I can see the plastic starting to fall out, so I'm going to close that. Okay, that's odd. It comes with a metallic collector's card, which I believe is supposed to have the download code on it, but it also comes with this sheet of paper which has the download code on it. Customer support booklet. Standard safety shit or whatnot, I don't know. Or maybe warranty. Should we read this? Yeah, safety shit. So we take out the plastic. Okay, I know the one thing everyone wants to see is the statue, so let's take a look at the collector's card first. Now, because it's a collector's card, I don't know if that means that there are different cards in every box and there's like a whole collection of them, or whether they all look the same. But yeah, it is metallic. It's slightly flexible. Not sure what type of metal. It's got Sonic on the front, the Sonic Mania logo. It's got Tails and Knuckles on the back. And difficult to read, but it is there. There's a little bit at the bottom. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. It's a little bit of writing that's a similar colour to the background, so it's difficult to read, but it says "Fun is infinite." That's nice. Next up is one of the things that I was really excited about as well. It comes with a Sega Mega Drive, or Genesis if you're not from the UK, cartridge with Sonic Mania on it. Now this isn't actually a working cartridge, this is just a case designed to look like one, so you couldn't put this in a Mega Drive and play Sonic Mania, although that would have been fucking cool. Now basically you push in the bit at the bottom, and or maybe you don't. Yeah, basically what this is it's a case designed to look like a cartridge that actually opens, although I'm not sure how, and I don't want to break it. There we go, it's open. Yeah, so basically you just, I think I'm doing this right, you just take the bottom and pull it out, and if you push it back in, it clips back into place. And what's inside this is something that every Sonic fan would want. Ooh, that's hefty. It's a golden ring. As long as I have this one on me at all time, I can't die. So, I guess that makes me immortal now. That is, it's not real gold. I think it's perhaps stainless steel with gold casing, but it's got some weight to it. That is, it's a heavy metal. I did read on the reviews online that the gold ring was actually fairly heavy material, but yeah, you can't tell just by looking at it. It's only when you hold it in your hand really that you think, yeah, that's got some weight to it. One ring to rule them all. That is cool. I do like that. I love the ring. I love that it comes in a cartridge case. That is alone worth a lot of money to me just as a fan. I suppose I should get more in depth about it. Like I say, it's not real gold, it's some kind of metal with gold casing. The cartridge itself looks fantastic, but it is just plastic. The chip at the bottom, where on a normal cartridge that would be what connects to the console, it's just a thin bit of plastic sticking out that then has some paper stuck across it with these gold designs. So it's actually, in terms of the materials used to make it, it's cheap. Might as well not beat around the bush. It is cheap. That's not real gold, it's another dense metal. So in terms of actual physical value, it's not going to be too much, but if you're a fan, you appreciate the aesthetic of it. Okay, now for the moment everyone's been waiting for. Oh, look at that. Sonic the Hedgehog on top of a Mega Drive. That is brilliant. Again, as soon as you inspect it up close, you do think, again, similarly with the cartridge and the ring, if you've just got this and you look at it as a fan, you think this is fantastic, but if you look at it with a critical eye, Sonic himself is made out of a fairly soft plastic, which I suppose isn't a bad thing. If it was too hard, it may make it more brittle. This might stand up a bit better to standard wear and tear in your bedroom or whatnot, but wherever you keep it. But it's a fairly soft plastic that's hollow, so again, it's probably cheaply made. The Mega Drive itself is the same. The on and off switch moves from side to side, so I believe that's how you get the Sega thing to work. It has a volume control, which does move up and down, but as I've read online, that's purely aesthetic. It doesn't actually affect the volume. Reset button isn't even a button, it's just part of the plastic shaped and painted. Holes on the front for controllers. Again, the plastic used to make the Mega Drive is just shaped like that, and the holes inside are painted white just so that they stand out a bit. The headphone jack is quite disappointing actually. It's just white inside with a black circle painted in the middle. There's no actual hole, which it wouldn't have been that expensive to make a hole, really, would it? Or you'd use less plastic. You'd be cutting plastic away. You know, recycle it, use it for part of the next model. So I don't know, from a technical value of the materials used and the effort gone into making it, it's not really worth that much. I'm not saying it's not good. I've read a lot of negative reviews based on the quality of the items, and holding it here in my hand, I don't agree fully with that. I think it is nice. I think it's fairly well made considering what it is, but again, I paid £80 minus the price of the game itself, £16. You're left with £64. Is that, and the metallic card? Let's not forget the box it came in as well. All adds up. But yeah, is it worth £64? In terms of physical value of the items, probably not. I think £80 is a little bit over expensive for what you're getting, but aesthetically it's designed for fans of Sonic the Hedgehog, and fans of Sonic the Hedgehog will love it. It's not physically worth how much you pay for it, but as a fan, your enjoyment of it will make it worth the expenditure if you've got it spare. I'd say if you have a spare £80 and you're not saving up for anything in particular and you want to treat yourself and you're a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, I think you would love to have this, and I think for that type of person then it's worth the purchase, purely for nostalgia and aesthetic pleasing. But make no mistake, the money you spend on it is not an investment. This stuff isn't going to be worth anything more in the future. It's purely that price because that's what fans would be willing to pay. They've put it up to what they know that they can get fans to hand over, and I am one of those fans who gave into that. So yeah, it worked. Who the hell's took on a screwdriver? Because of the cheap material of the statue, I'm having to be careful when unscrewing the battery case from the bottom, because I don't want to damage any of it when I've spent £80 on the thing. In order for the statue to play the sound, it requires batteries, and the batteries are not included. You have to supply them yourself. But it just uses 2 AA batteries, so got to stick that in there. Oh, also, one thing I forgot to mention was there is a power on button on the top. Again, that's aesthetic. It's not an actual button. Okay, so the batteries are in. Let's check it out, see if it works. Oh, that is so nostalgic. I'm a little bit moist. Let's do it again. I'll just put that up. Yeah, I can confirm that the volume control does nothing. You turn it all the way down to mute. Does fuck all. But the Sega sound itself, oh, that's such an iconic sound. This is going to be the sort of thing where this is just going to be on the side in my room, and then whenever I've been out at work or something, I'll come back, I'll just walk past this and just be like... every damn day. Yeah, I'm going to go for a shitload of AA's. See, now I'm wondering what to do. Do I display it proudly, or do I keep it in the box? It's always the issue when it comes to collecting things like these. Because look at this box. That's an awful lot of space to not use. And it would help keep everything else nice and safe. But you don't want to keep having to get this out every time that you just want to go. And it would look nice just standing there, Sonic on top of the Mega Drive. Or Genesis if you're from outside of the UK. That is a decision I'm going to have to make. But for now, I'll conclude this video by saying, if you're a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, you will like this. I have no idea how good the game is. I have not played it yet. I have heard wonderful things, but whether or not the game is fantastic is irrelevant when it comes to the £80 price tag on the collector's edition, because the game could be worth hundreds. But if you can get it for £16, why the hell would you not? Therefore, when it comes to deciding whether or not you buy the collector's edition, it all rounds down to, if you throw the game out of the equation, is this, and this worth £64? And honestly, from a physical material, economic point of view, no, it's not. It's made out of cheap materials, that is apparent. It's unfortunate, but that's the situation we're in. This stuff isn't going to become more valuable in time because, like I said, the materials are cheap. The best you can hope to do from a profit point of view is to buy it now for £80 while you still can, and then as soon as it's stopped selling in standard retail, try to sell it to fanboys who are still trying to get hold of it and will be willing to pay that little bit extra. You might be able to make a little bit extra off that. But in the long run, say 20 years into the future now, this isn't going to drastically go up in price. So from that perspective, no, it's not worth the extra £64. But for the people that this was actually designed for, the fans of Sonic the Hedgehog, the fans of the original trilogy, who the game itself was designed for, the statue alone encapsulates the original trilogy perfectly. It's got Sonic with the design that he had in the original 16-bit games on the console that played them, along with the cartridge with the ring inside, which is fantastic. That's something that the fans will love. And the collector's card is something a little bit extra. It's not the thing you're going to be fussed about. No one's particularly going to care that much about this. It's just a sheet of metal with Sonic on it. But it's there. But the main drawing point is the statue and the cartridge with the golden ring inside. Those two, plus the collector's card, it's fantastic for fans of the game aesthetically. Like I said, the material value not worth £64, but if you're a massive fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, particularly of the original 16-bit trilogy, then yes, this is worth the extra money if you have it spare. If you're the sort of person who doesn't have that extra money spare and would have to spend a while living a less decent life to save up the money just to get it, then you're probably better off just downloading the game and sticking to that. But if you've got the extra cash handy, you're a Sonic the Hedgehog fan, particularly the original trilogy, this is a wonderful thing to treat yourself to. You will enjoy it, you will realise that the quality isn't as good as it could have been, but you won't care because it still looks fantastic and it encapsulates everything about the original trilogy, which, based on reviews I've heard of Sonic Mania, is exactly what that game does as well. So maybe it is the perfect partnering, because that's really what Sonic Mania is about. It's about bringing back the feeling of nostalgia from the original 3 games. And when you buy the collector's edition, the things that come with it bring back that feeling as well. The game and the collector's edition things that come with it go hand in hand. It really is something that's designed for the fans only, and if you're a fan, then yes, it is worth it. I personally am a fan of the original trilogy. I'm not happy with where Sonic went afterwards, particularly with Sonic 06, as you will know by now if you've watched pretty much any of my gameplay videos on this channel. I always take the piss out of Sonic 06 because it's a bad game and it deserves it. If you look back for the videos, you'll also realise that I did a playthrough of Sonic 06, and if you watched any of them, you will realise how much I hated it. It was the first time I'd ever played it, and I was not enjoying it. We never actually got the game finished in the end because the PlayStation 3 stopped working before we'd finished. I still need to get that PlayStation replaced, but if I ever do, I have vowed never to go back and finish it. I am leaving that in the past because I don't want to play it. Sonic 06 is a bad game. Never play it. Never ever play it. Don't do what I did. I thought it would be the sort of game where if Aiden and I played it together, it would be fun because of how shit it is. It's not. Don't ever touch that game. As for Sonic Mania, I don't know, I haven't played it yet. Based on what I've heard, it sounds like it is good, but I will go into more detail about the game itself in part 2. In conclusion to part 1, the collector's edition of Sonic Mania isn't worth the extra price to any standard collector or to someone just looking to treat themselves. But if you're a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, particularly the original trilogy, then this is the perfect accompaniment to the game Sonic Mania. It encapsulates everything the game's trying to encapsulate, and it's just nice. Do I wish that the price was a bit lower? Yes, I do. Do I think that it would be more reasonable for the price to be lower? Yes, I definitely do. But as it stands, the price is £80 on Amazon. I don't know about anywhere else. It's the cheapest I could find it. And for that price, I personally, now that I've got the things in front of me and have viewed and critiqued them, I am happy with the purchase. If someone else had all this stuff and I'd viewed it around theirs and then came back to mine and had the hindsight of knowing what everything was like before purchasing, would I have spent the £80 on it? Yes, but as a fan. Don't take what I said lightly. If you are not a true dedicated fan of the original Sonic the Hedgehog trilogy, this is not for you, it is overpriced. But if you are a fan, you will love it. I can fully understand where all the negative reviews are coming from, but that is purely from people looking at it from a material perspective and not from actual die-hard fans of the original trilogy who have wanted the series to go back to its roots for so long. And to those people who nostalgia really gets to, you will love this. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say on the collector's edition of Sonic Mania. I'll wrap this up now. Tune in for part 2 when I'll go into details about the game itself and whether or not that's worth £16, which I'm pretty sure it will be, but who knows, maybe we'll surprise ourselves. Until then, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.